A Train of Thoughts and Experiences in Life with God. By Mr. Sunil Kasturi. Our whole family was in Bombay, Mumbai today, for a wedding in 1990. After the wedding, we had our return tickets booked to Madras, Chennai today, via the Bombay Express train. After the wedding festivities, we were all chatting when a member of the extended family said that they would be returning home to Trivandrum, Thiruvananthapuram today, via the Bombay Express. Oh, that's simply impossible because we are taking that train to Madras. You are wrong, I said confidently. My father added in support. I asked my nephews to book these tickets to Madras precisely for this day because I have an important work-related meeting there. You better check your tickets lest you end up on the west coast of India instead of the east coast. We all laughed aloud. But the gentleman was gentle and insistent. No. I am pretty sure that the Bombay Express is going to Trivandrum tomorrow. As if it goes to different places on different days. I mocked him. Indeed, it does. On most days of the week, it goes to Madras, but some days, it goes to Trivandrum. Panic mode. There was silence now as we digested this new piece of information. A quick check revealed that the gentleman was right and we were wrong. The Bombay Express was indeed going to Trivandrum the next day. It would be leaving for Madras in a few hours, but we had tickets only for the next day's train. My cousins had overlooked this in booking the trip, and we were in panic mode now. My mother was the only one who remained calm. She told my father, who didn't believe in Swami back then, pray to him, and he will make a way to ensure that you attend your important meeting. Father was very tense and sat frozen while the rest of us prayed to Swami. Again, it was my mother who said, we should just go to the station. Swami in my heart says so. And do what? My father asked, continuing, we don't have tickets for today's train. Nevertheless, with no better idea, we packed up and left in a hurry to the railway station. We tried to get some tickets, at least in the unreserved compartment of the train. But all our efforts were in vain. That was when a Muslim gentleman wearing a cap came to us and introduced himself as Shahul Hamid. With nothing to lose, we told him of our predicament. Thinking for a moment, he reassured us, don't worry. I know all the ticket collectors on all trains. I can get you in. Tickets and much more. We got suspicious that he may be a cheat. Once again, it was my mother who prevailed. She strongly felt Swami's hand guiding everything and asked him what we should do. He asked for 300 rupees, a big sum those days, promising to fetch tickets for us. He fixed a rendezvous point for all of us to meet in the next 15 minutes. The train was due to leave very soon, and we agreed. My father handed over the money to Hamid, and he left in a hurry. We walked to the rendezvous point, repeating, Sai Ram, Sai Ram. The minutes ticked by, but there was no sign of the gentleman. Then, my mother started singing bhajans. My concerned cousins were also there, tensed about the possible outcome. There was barely a minute left before the train would depart, and I was convinced that we had been taken for a ride. As my mother revealed later, at this point, she prayed to Swami, Dear Lord, if the train leaves and we are standing on the platform, I don't know what face I will show my husband. He does not believe in you, but I do. This is a moment which I can use to bring you into his heart. Just as the train was about to start, Hamid came rushing out of nowhere. He thrust the tickets into our hands, along with an envelope, and started to load our luggage onto the train. "Hurry up and get in," he urged. We boarded the train in a hurry and wanted to offer some money to him in gratitude. "You simply get in now," he said. "I shall take what is due from these boys." My cousins nodded, and we hopped onto the train. Amazingly, we got reserved seats on the train, and after reaching our destination, my father made it to his all-important meeting. We opened the envelope that the gentleman had given us. It contained the entire 300 rupees that we had given him. When we called up my cousins in Bombay, they said that once we left, the man also disappeared, and they could not even get the chance to thank him. Yes, I use the capital H for him because I know that Swami came to board us on the train to Madras that day, just like he was there to ensure that my father boarded the train of faith and devotion toward him. The changeless constant in storms of life from that day onward, we were regular in our adoration and worship of Swami. My father was convinced of his divinity and love. In fact, on many occasions, he would remind my mother of Swami's ways when she got worried. It was wonderful to see my parents move as co-travelers in their journey toward him. Their life situation kept changing, but not their commitment and devotion to Swami. Almost 25 years after Shahul Hamid rescued us in Bombay, my parents were in Austin, Minnesota, in the USA, where they managed a property. My sister lived with her family in Winona, about 80 miles away from them. My parents would regularly visit her in their blue hatchback car and spend happy time with the grandchildren. One day, as they were returning from my sister's place, they got caught in a storm. Bhajans were playing in the car, and my parents continued to drive, unruffled. After all, they were on I-90, the longest interstate highway in the United States, more than 3,000 miles long. But then, it happened. On the way, a flash flood suddenly hit them, and the car got pushed across the west lanes in the opposite direction. The flood carried the vehicle into a big ditch, and water began to fill the car from the front. The doors, unfortunately, got jammed and would not open, not even budge. The car engine completely shut down, and there was no way to even roll the windows down. My parents unbuckled their seat belts and moved to the back seats, which were at a relatively higher level. But the car was filling up fast with water, and there was nobody inside. As the water hit their ankles, my mother lamented, "Oh, I think this is it. Our lives are ending. How I wish our kids at least knew that this is happening to us." She was completely calm, though. My father replied, "We are all sparks of the divine. If this is our time to go, we should do so by focusing on Swami. We should use this opportunity in contemplation of Swami. Let us not worry about it and rise above it from within." Keeping calm, smiling at each other, they began to chant loudly, "Sai Ram, Sai Ram." Even as they continued to chant, they felt the joy filling their hearts and rising along with the water levels in the car. It was a crazy scene, and my parents might have gone mad. But then, as Swami says, of all the madnesses that afflict man, God madness is the least harmful and most beneficial. They were blissful in their madness for Swami. Life with God. Suddenly, a face appeared at the window. It was a police officer. He asked my parents to move back and wielded his baton with great strength to break the window and force open the door. He got my parents out of the car just before the car completely went underwater. How did you get here? My mother asked the police officer who had come from the opposite direction. He replied that something just prompted him to come and look at this stretch of the highway. My parents looked at each other, and they knew that Shahul Hamid had come again, in the form of a cop, this time. The next day, the local newspaper headlined a story titled, "Miracle Saves Immigrant Couple on I-90." The world read about it and acknowledged this miracle of our Swami, our eternal companion. Indeed, life without God is a hopeless end. But life with God is an endless hope. Mr. Sunil Kasturi,